Credit card delinquencies tonight at the highest level in 2 decades. Congress right now is considering a credit card holders' Bill of Rights to try to limit the predatory credit card company practices. My next guest is a leading opponent of that proposal. He's Congressman Jeb Hensarling. He joins us tonight from Capitol Hill. Good to have you with us, Congressman.
Yeah, thanks, Lou. Thanks for having me.
I think we ought to just start out right away. Why do you think that a credit card Bill of Rights would be, as you put it, a bill of wrongs?
Well, I don't think a bill would necessarily be a bill of wrongs. I think this bill would be a bill of wrongs. And the reason, Lou, I think it would be a bill of wrongs is because for millions of Americans who are struggling to fill up their gas tank and put food on the table, what this bill could do is actually increase fees. It could lead to annual fees. It could lead to taking away some of their benefits.
Congressman. Okay? The point is to limit fees. The point is to limit the damage that can be done to families.
That's why we don't want this bill, Lou. That's why we don't want this bill. Right now, if you go back, say, 10 years ago, a third fewer Americans had access to credit cards. They all had to pay annual fees, and they paid a high interest rate. What's changed? What has changed is the ability of companies in a competitive marketplace to offer some people with good credit records. Half of America pays their credit bills in full on time, and so they get to pay lower rates. What Congress is trying to do is essentially take away their ability to price for risk, and it's just not fair to 95% of Americans who either pay their bill on time or pay according to the terms of their credit card.
I couldn't agree with you more, because the last thing we would want is for the credit card companies to abuse any more consumers in this country. The idea, so then you do support Ben Bernanke's call for more regulation of the credit card industry. You're not opposed to regulation then of the credit card industry itself. You have no problem with stopping these fees, these bait and switch interest rates, ending those practices, do you?
Well, what I believe, Lou, is
come on, straightforwardly. You have no problem with regulation, or do you?
I have a problem with some of the regulations that Bernanke has proposed, but not all of them.
You're a hard man to please. How about the $135 billion in interest? How about the bait and switch tactics of these major credit card companies, the usurious interest rates that are beyond any kind of pale of conscience or reason? There is no economic basis for it, Congressman. How could you possibly object to it?
Well, Lou, I know it's your show, but if you're going to ask questions, maybe you ought to give me the opportunity to answer.
I'm going to let you do just that.
What I believe is that there has to be better disclosure. Nobody understands their credit card terms, and so, frankly, there's a problem with disclosure. It comes from the government. It comes from trial lawyers, and it comes from some credit card companies indeed engaging in unscrupulous practices. So I believe there ought to be regulation, but there ought to not be prohibiting the ability of people who have good credit records from paying less from those who don't. That's what I'm trying to defend.
At what point is it loan sharking? At what percentage interest would you say loan sharking begins?
Listen, I think as long as you know the terms and you agree to the terms.
Look, I'm not being hypothetical. I'm not being abstract or philosophical. I'm asking a straightforward question. At what point do you think somebody should go to jail for usurious rates in this country?
I think as long as you agree to the terms, then you shouldn't. Again, it has to do with
if somebody
disclosure.
switches the interest rate on you without your understanding it and knowledge, do you think somebody ought to go to jail then?
If somebody did not disclose that, if they engaged in fraud or deception, the answer is yes.
How about predatory lending?
Well, there's a lot of predatory lending.
Yes, there is.
A lot of predatory
and we need to
borrowing.
shut it down, don't we?
Yeah, but Lou, what you're proposing here is what they tried in the United Kingdom just a couple of years ago, and that is to take the ability of companies to risk-based price away. And guess what? 2 of the 3 largest card holders went to annual fees. 15
can I ask you a
question?
I've got to ask this question.
Absolutely.
I just have to ask this question. You are aware we had usury laws in this country for a century, right?
Oh, I'm familiar with
and you are aware that we didn't change those usury laws until the credit card companies demanded that we do so, right?
Well, Lou, if you're trying to roll the clock back to a time...
No, I'm not trying to do anything. I'm trying to get a straight answer out of a congressman. That's all I'm trying to do is get a straight answer out of a congressman.
Well, the answer is
you are aware that the reason those usury rates...
Laws.
Huh?
Yeah, I'm aware there's usury laws.
And you're aware that we rolled those back to suit the credit card companies.
Yeah, and guess what
And
happened?
you're aware...
You sent people to payday lenders, and you sent them to pawn shops when they should have been able to get credit cards, Lou.
No, we didn't. We made a bunch of banks a whole bunch of money. And we made credit card companies, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, a lot of money. Now, what we're saying is it's time to put those usury rates back into place. What do you think?
No, I think it's a terrible idea.
I knew you would.
I knew you would. Again, Lou, you're taking
why? The credit card companies are
from hardworking. No, I'm not here to defend credit card companies. I'm here to defend freedom.
Why not?
I'm here to defend opportunity for hardworking Americans to be able to get a credit card and pay a lower
Congressman,
fee
if I may say,
a lower risk.
If a working man and woman in this country and our middle class gets any more defense from folks like you, they can kiss it all goodbye, because basically they haven't got the $3 billion, almost $3 billion a year to lobby you all in Washington, D.C., so they kind of get squeezed out. And aren't you guys a little bit embarrassed?
You need to do your homework. See what happened in the United Kingdom when people had to go and pay annual fees and higher interest rates.
You want to do comparative? You want to do comparative economics with me, Congressman?
Absolutely. 60% fewer people got access to credit cards. So
who wrote the bankruptcy law of 2005, Congressman? Who wrote the bankruptcy law of 2005?
Why don't you tell us?
I'll tell you straight up. The lobbyists for the credit card companies and financial institutions, and the Republican leadership of Congress ought to be ashamed to its socks. And that's a fact. And to have you all sitting there telling the American people what is their right, my gosh, Congressman, you can do better than that.
Well, Lou, you're the one who invited me on. I just accepted. Again, you need to look at your economics. There's people who are going to be denied credit cards if we do what you want them to do. And when people are struggling to fill up their gas tank and send kids to college, they shouldn't have their credit cards taken away.
I can't believe you're sitting there with a grin on your face saying that, Congressman.
You got a competitive marketplace. I defend the free market system.
How many? I'm sorry.
You don't.
Help me out. Oh, Mr. Free Trader, help me out. How many credit card companies dominate the credit card market in this company? How many?
Well, it depends on what you call domination. There are 10 major companies, but you get 6,000 different credit cards.
So 10,
you get now.
10 basic companies. What's that called in economics, Congressman? It's called an oligopoly, isn't it?
Well, we got two.
That's not exactly a free market.
Computer
so I take it,
systems.
since you're so proud of free trade, you're going to break them up. Is that it?
No, because I believe there's effective competition between 6,000
so long as you believe there's
offerings.
Give me a break.
Where else do you have 6,000
Why don't you have the guts to say
straightforward
to those credit card companies, you're not going to screw the American consumer? Why don't you have that much courage?
Lou, again, if they are engaged in improper disclosure, if they're engaged in fraudulent practices, they ought to go to jail.
How would you know?
The regulations are fine there.
Who's doing the
regulating?
But
to outlaw a practice to where a company and an individual say, this is the credit card I want, and you're taking that opportunity away from them. That's not fair. That's not the American way.
And you are putting your arm around those credit card companies and putting your other hand in the pocket of the American consumer.
I'm putting my arm around the American consumer who has an opportunity to get credit.
That's a
and
chilly
you would
grip
take it away from
Congressman.
them to outlaw these practices again.
Yeah. Give us some more of that free trade talk before we wrap up. I guess
I'm sorry, was that a question?
No, that was just a request, and it's one I've reconsidered. Congressman, thanks for being with us.
You're welcome, Lou.